50 degrees Celsius. Today, that number appears on weather apps with warning signs. People rush indoors. Air conditioners roar to life. Cold water bottles disappear from store shelves. And even then, heat stroke kills thousands every year. Now imagine facing that same temperature. Without electricity. Without refrigerators. Without sunscreen. Without shoes. Without even knowing what degrees Celsius meant. And yet ancient humans survived heat so brutal it could melt animal fat left under the sun. Not for one day. Not for one summer. For thousands of years. But the craziest part is this. The farther back you go into human history, the weirder the survival methods become. Because humans didn't begin as masters of hot climates. At first, heat destroyed them. Around 2 million years ago, early human ancestors in Africa were still covered with much more body hair than modern humans. Scientists like Nina Jablonski believe one of the biggest turning points in human evolution happened when humans slowly lost most of that body hair. At first, that sounds stupid. Why would evolution remove protection from the sun? But nature was building something terrifyingly effective. Sweat. Unlike most animals, humans developed millions of sweat glands. While lions rested in shade and dogs panted desperately, humans could keep moving under deadly heat. Slowly. Relentlessly. Hour after hour. Scientists call this endurance adaptation. In simple words, humans became heat monsters. Ancient hunters sometimes chased animals for so long under the burning sun that the animals overheated and collapsed first. Imagine being an antelope. Fast, powerful, built for survival, and still losing to a sweaty ape that simply refuses to stop walking. That was humanity's superpower. Then around 300,000 years ago, humans began changing their daily lives around the sun itself. Not clocks. Not calendars. The sun. Archaeological evidence suggests many ancient groups traveled before sunrise, hid during peak heat, then became active again at sunset. Entire civilizations later copied this pattern. Even today in some hot countries, afternoon rest traditions still exist because the human body physically struggles under extreme heat. But early humans didn't just rest. They got creative. Very creative. Some survival methods sound almost ridiculous today. For example, certain desert groups covered themselves with mud. Completely. At first glance it sounds insane. But wet mud slowed water loss from skin and created temporary cooling as it dried. A primitive biological air conditioner. Others slept directly on damp sand underground, because temperatures just a few inches below the surface could feel dramatically cooler. Some even hid inside shallow pits during the hottest hours. Imagine modern humans seeing this. A grown man buried in sand trying not to die from heat. But it worked. And in ancient survival, working was all that mattered. Around 100,000 years ago, humans became masters of shade engineering. Not architecture yet. Engineering. Researchers studying early campsites discovered people carefully positioned shelters near rock shadows that moved predictably throughout the day. They studied sunlight patterns without mathematics. Some groups built temporary structures from animal hides stretched across bones and branches to create portable shade systems. Others used caves strategically. But caves came with danger. Snakes. Predators. Poor airflow. Too deep, and smoke from fire suffocated you. Too open, and heat entered anyway. Ancient humans constantly balanced survival against survival. Every solution created a new problem. Then something fascinating happened. Around 40,000 years ago, human intelligence exploded into what scientists sometimes call the Great Leap Forward. Tools improved. Communication improved. and survival techniques became astonishingly advanced. In regions of Australia, Aboriginal groups learned perhaps one of the smartest heat survival methods in history: burning land on purpose. Small controlled fires cleared dry vegetation, reduced massive wildfire risks, and encouraged new plant growth that attracted animals. European scientists later called it primitive. Then modern researchers realized something embarrassing. It actually worked brilliantly. Today, controlled burns are used worldwide by modern forestry experts. Ancient humans discovered environmental management before modern science existed. And then came water science. Except ancient people didn't call it science. They called it survival. By 20,000 years ago, some groups memorized landscapes so accurately that they could navigate massive deserts using stars, rock formations, wind directions, and even insect behavior. Anthropologists discovered oral traditions describing hidden water sources passed down across generations, like secret treasure maps. One wrong memory could kill entire families. That pressure turned human memory into a weapon. And humans became obsessed with storing water. Animal stomachs became primitive water bags. Large eggshells were used as containers in some regions. Underground pits lined with clay slowed evaporation. Some desert cultures even learned to drink slowly instead of gulping water because rapid drinking increased sweating. Again and again, ancient humans discovered survival tricks through suffering. And sometimes, pure desperation. There are records from ancient travelers and survival communities using methods modern people would never imagine. Some slept beside large animals because animal bodies generated warmth during freezing desert nights after extreme daytime heat. Others wrapped themselves in certain plants to reduce sun exposure. Some wore loose full-body coverings made from woven fibers that trapped cooler air around the skin. Modern people once mocked these heavy desert clothes. Then scientists realized they actually reduce heat stress better than exposing bare skin directly to sunlight. Ancient humans accidentally understood thermal regulation centuries before physics explained it. And then humanity entered the age of cities. Around 10,000 years ago, farming began changing everything. Now humans couldn't simply move away from heat. They had to survive in one place permanently. So ancient civilizations became obsessed with cooling systems. The ancient Egyptians built homes with tiny windows and thick mud brick walls that trapped cooler air inside. Ancient Persians created one of history's greatest inventions: wind catchers. Massive tower structures that pulled wind downward into buildings, naturally cooling rooms without electricity. Modern engineers still study these systems today. Imagine inventing air conditioning thousands of years before electricity. Then ancient Romans pushed things even further. Rich Roman homes sometimes circulated water through walls to reduce temperatures. Cold water systems. In ancient times, human beings were slowly turning survival into engineering. But ordinary people still suffered brutally. Historical records describe workers collapsing under heat while building monuments, travelers dying in deserts, entire caravans disappearing. Survival never became easy. Humans simply became smarter. And sometimes smarter meant bizarre. In some ancient hot regions, people slept on rooftops under open skies because indoor spaces trapped unbearable heat. Others hung wet cloth near sleeping areas so wind passing through created evaporative cooling. A primitive version of modern coolers. Some desert tribes avoided speaking too much during travel because talking dried the mouth faster. Imagine being told survival depends on staying quiet. Even human behavior evolved around heat. Slow movement, energy conservation, silence, shade tracking, night activity. Human life itself reshaped around temperature. Then scientists in modern times started asking a shocking question. Did extreme heat actually help make humans more intelligent? Researchers like Richard Wrangham suggested harsh environments forced humans to plan ahead unlike most animals. Animals react. Humans prepare. A lion becomes thirsty and searches for water. Humans remembered where water would exist weeks later. That difference changed history. Because surviving heat wasn't about strength. It was about prediction, planning, memory, cooperation. The people who shared knowledge survived longer. The people who adapted fastest lived longer. The people who ignored nature disappeared. And maybe the strangest truth of all is this. Ancient humans accepted heat in ways modern humans no longer can. Today, discomfort feels like failure. But ancient survival meant understanding something brutal. Nature does not care about comfort, only adaptation. That's why humans became one of the most dangerous species on Earth. Not because we had claws, not because we had speed, but because humans could suffer, learn, and return smarter. A burning desert became a classroom. Every heat wave taught a lesson. Every death passed down knowledge. Every generation improved slightly. Until eventually humans crossed the Sahara, reached Arabia, entered India, spread across Australia, and survived places where nature seemed to say, "You do not belong here." But humanity answered the same way every time. "We'll adapt." And we did. The next time cold air hits your face from an air conditioner, think about this. That comfort was built on thousands of years of human experimentation. Sweating under burning suns, digging sleeping pits in hot sand, wrapping bodies in mud, studying shadows, following birds to water, sleeping on rooftops, traveling under stars, listening to elders describe hidden wells from memory alone. Modern cooling did not appear suddenly. It evolved. From fear, from suffering, from millions of humans refusing to die under a merciless sky. And somewhere deep inside your body, your ancient ancestors are still there, still sweating, still searching for shade, still remembering how to survive the heat.